And the case of the cats continues today. You see, very recently I stated that this guy, so to speak, was released twice. Indeed, we did have a cat mold that was used to make the Jinbao KO oversized Nero Rex version of Tigress, who of course is based on the MMC Feral Rex character of the same name, which in turn is based on, of course, the Predaking known as Rampage. But this guy, though he shares the same skeleton, is actually based on something much different. In fact, this guy, Felisaber, is perhaps able to best be described as the Autobot that helps form Predaking? What? Stick around, I'm going to explain a little bit of the backstory of this guy and everything to do with him in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, and welcome back to the channel, or to the channel if you're here for the first time. I am so glad to have you join us. I am your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot, and as always I'm going to say, like, comment, share, and please subscribe, join us, be part of the community. Your support is more valued now than ever, and more than you could ever know. Couple of quick shout outs here to Zeno Smith, Nortalica, Captain Starving, and a good friend of the channel, Masterfire. By all means, guys, check out what they're doing on their channels as well. What can I say? Support small YouTube. Check me out everywhere. Have a look at Machinery of Man and the Everything Factor. And now we're going to get into this guy, Felisaber. Okay, first of all, this is the Jinbao oversized Nero Rex repaint version of him, but even the actual guy is kind of at a left field. I get why he was done. They had a cat mold, they being MMC, and this was a way to kind of reuse that mold. Now, here's where things get interesting. Depending on the continuity that you follow, he either starts out as a Decepticon and kind of becomes an Autobot, or at least embraced by them, or more often than not, he is just an Autobot. I don't really know how the character fits in. He is a pretender from the G1 continuity, and surprisingly, this works really, really well as him. The robot mode is extremely indicative of the smaller robot inside the pretender shell, and his cat mode is very indicative of the pretender shell itself. In fact, he came with a couple of accessories. There were a couple in the box that just seemed to kind of have no point, but they go with this guy. That it being this little blaster, which we'll look at more fully when we see the details of him, and a strange mask. Again, we'll look at that in closer detail. He turns into a saber-toothed tiger, so I see animal-wise why he would fit with the Predakons, but he's not really a bad guy like them, at least not usually. Nevertheless, this was done to kind of give symmetry to the combined mode. I can respect that. But here's the thing, the most interesting thing. The official version of this guy, I have seen clock in at about $35, and I can guarantee you now, it is most assuredly worth that. It is pretty fantastic. Maybe not perfect, but pretty fantastic. This guy, the oversized one, is a cheaper alternative, but it is still worth every cent. Yes, at this point he kind of has the gorilla arm syndrome, but we will see how you can address that and kind of get rid of it so that he works pretty perfectly. Anyway, I've kind of given a lot of backstory and blabbered on a bit too long here. Let's get over to the table and have a look at the details of this guy. Does this seem like a little bit of deja vu? Maybe so, and I can understand why, because we did look at this mold last time. I'm going to start from robot, go back to the animal mode, and finish off with his limb mode. This is the Nero Rex KO oversized version of Felisaber, and he isn't really a Predaking, though I get it. Like I said, they had the mold of a cat. Why wouldn't you use it for this guy? It makes perfect sense. But I don't know if I would ever actually include him as part of the combiner. Here's why. He's technically an Autobot pretender. Really, let's be honest. I know some people will argue, no, he was sometimes a Decepticon. Sure, he was, but even then, he sort of saw the light. He's not the right faction, but even as a standalone figure, he's terrific. The paint apps here look glorious again with the beautiful purple, black, gray, and silver. It's a 10, but that being said, the actual version kind of has yellow on the arms, on the whole body. The head here is yellow, the eyes are red, the lower legs are yellow with sort of red on the kneecaps, and the shoulder pieces and thigh pieces are gray. But guess what? In his robot mode here, that is extremely accurate to the little pretender that was inside the shell. It's a 10. When we turn this guy into a cat, he really does look like the outer shell of the pretender, and that's a 10. His paint is a 10. It's no mistaking it. He comes with a couple of accessories. I'm just going to talk about them and how they incorporate here because they are very unique to him. Or at least a couple of them are. First, an apology again. This sword can come apart into two pieces as shown by this little split there on the blade. These are so tight that I'm not comfortable trying to get them apart so that these teeth and these teeth can kind of internotch with each other. It's a cool look when you can do it, but especially with the KO, I don't want to take the chance of stressing or breaking anything. I have heard that even with the actual Feral Rex version, this still doesn't work the best. It's still extremely tight. And as I mentioned, in the box we had this odd, just gray little blaster. It looks cool, it's molded nicely, there's zero paint. And I wondered, who does this belong to? Why is this here? It's only one of them, and it doesn't seem to fit in anywhere. But it does. It does if you know this character. And lastly, we have this accessory. It is a beautiful battle mask with blue eyes and red on the sides. Otherwise, it's unpainted gray plastic. It is in two halves. You can see the split going down the middle of the head. It does like to come apart, but it's held in with, pegs, so it goes back together. No problem whatsoever. Here's how it looks on the other side. And if you want, I guess this can bend down inside. So I've given you a lot of hints by now. This is a cat. A saber-toothed tiger, no less. We've seen the mask, the blaster. I've told you it's a pretender. Have you figured out who it is yet? If so, then good for you. And if not, this is technically Catilla. So, can the accessories go on him in this mode? Yes, well, probably not the huge sword, but you can take the blaster and... Actually, I'll do it with the handle here. Fit it in on the side, like that. And you can take the helmet, open it out, and it will go on over his arm. Oh, and I just split it. And now we have a shield on this arm made out of that mask. I will say this, the mask likes to fall apart if you look at it the wrong way. This is held on extremely tediously. It's not a secure connection at all with this guy. I assume it is with the actual release. He also comes with this thing. It's not for him. So we're not going to look at that accessory now. But nevertheless, you have an idea of where things fit on this guy. And we'll see those accessories again just a little bit later. We're going to look at his articulation next. The head can go left and right. It can look way up. It can look down. This head moves around and up. All the exact same articulation that we saw before, with the arms able to go around and out, way out to the side. Right now he has gorilla arms, but you can remove these hands and put in new ones that give him a wrist swivel so that both the elbow and the hand can be faced in the right orientation. He has the same sort of backward tilt and a waist swivel, a double waist swivel. The legs, again, they can go way out to the side for full splits, just as we saw before. Thigh swivel, ratcheted knee to 90 degrees or better, ankle tilt to the side, forward and back. He does everything. Articulation on the guy for robot mode and for his animal mode is easily a 10. Our mode, well, that's a different story, but so far we have a 9.75, we have a 10. The regular sized KO of this, because there is a regular sized version, is not very good. I don't think it has the waist. I believe all of that is one piece. This head is not on a ball joint, so it can't swivel, which does hurt his transformation kind of exceptionally. But right now we have a 9.75, a 10. This guy's like a 9.9 at this point. So let's get into the transformation. We're going to do the lower body first and then the upper body. So we bring the thigh filler pieces to the back. We open out, actually we bring down the foot, we open out the back of the leg, we flip the foot all the way up around. It is a little bit tight, but not bad. Nothing you really need to worry about. Same over here. Get it just in a pass right there and up over. No problem. Get these arms here out of the way. Flip up this leg. I actually did have it positioned correctly, but the ratchets are such that it was very tight pushing this up. That one goes up nicer. Come in here, pick off that tail again, and then close these legs up on the body. Come to the bottom and close over the thighs and the feet sections. And come to the side. Lift this off just a little bit. Open out this gray section that tabs in with that little gray tab. Swing the entire leg out and down and around so that it looks like that. Take the foot and rotate it like that. Over here we do the same, and I know I'm going through this quickly because, like I said, we've seen this kind of before. Pick that up, rotate this whole thing out, down, rotate the foot, lift off the leg. If it wasn't done already, put that down, bring this down. Again, the regular size KO, because it's kind of one, it's missing joints. Basically, you can only bring the head of the beast up to there. You can probably lean the head back a little bit, but this is kind of what you end up with. The combiner peg is on the top, or port, I should say, is on the top. The head of the robot is right there. This is not up all the way. It looks awful. If you see pictures of the regular sized one, you'll notice that there's an empty ball peg here because you have to pop this head off in order for it to look remotely accurate. It's not good. But this guy thankfully does not have that problem. At this point, to continue the transformation properly, we push the head back, the robot head back all the way. We bring the cat head up over and turn it. You'll notice you can still see the robot head here, but thankfully it doesn't stay this way in this mode because we turn him at the waist. So now the robot head and the combiner peg are on the bottom of the dude. Rotate these shoulders, bring the arms down, turn them this way, open out that whole section, rotate the fist up and bring it down, turn it this way, rotate out that whole section, put the fist away and do that, and boom, straightening those up. Here we have Felisaber in his cat mode. Now everything there was quick, it was smooth, and it really ends up working nicely here, or so I think. We can naturally incorporate his accessories in this mode as well. This is more indicative of the Pretender shell of Catilla, and as such we want it to look like that shell. We accomplish this by putting that piece in there, on the side, and now we're going to put on the battle mask. I'm going to reposition this so we can see all this a little bit better. And this cool cat does have a battle mask. What can I say? It looks cool when it's on. I didn't know what it was. Honestly, before this, I had never even heard of Catilla. I had no idea who he was. So the battle mask. It basically just slides down over the head of the cat section here. Like that. I guess you can, you know, leave the saber-tooth teeth, the tusks, whatever it is, out straight or down because they bend as well. This piece goes up over the back. But that's how it looks, all battled up, so to speak. I love it. I think it looks so cool. It is so indicative of the character. By the way, this mask is the exact same really as the one that comes with the regularly painted version, although I think that one might be more of a silvery gray than just a stark gray like we have here. Either way, it's a successful Catilla. Let's go to his limb mode last. So we take this back off and we take this off. For limb mode, for this guy, we're going to come to the side and we're going to really bring this all the way down around. There's a couple of rectangular pegs here that go into a couple of notches right there. So we bring it all the way down. Ooh. Here. Ooh. There. We bring it down from this hinge up here, all the way down, up and underneath, and we peg it in. Like that. We do the same over here. Bring that down, bring this up. Peg it in, like that. Next, we rotate the head here. Actually, we move it down and then we rotate it. This head, the robot head, you can leave it back like this if you want. I tend to bring it forward more like that so that this panel is up and we have full shoulder range there. But that's kind of up to you. I think official is to leave it back. We come down here, we turn at the waist, we come to these legs and we split right there, bring the tail up and in over, and then put the legs back together. We come to the side over here and we bring out that gray piece, we rotate the paw around and we bring the whole thing down and around. Bring this gray piece down and pull it up on the side, peg it back in. Over here, let's hope that this goes a little more smoothly. It's only because I'm doing it quickly. We turn that, we feed the toes through, I hope. like that. Bring it up, bring this down, peg it in, rotate it up, and slot it in place. And now we have an arm. Again, we have a limited elbow. Here's the combiner port. It looks great. It looks bulky, hefty. It's all right. I wish that the range of motion here was a bit better. But arguably, if you like a stylized Predaking, then you can use this as an arm, but you don't have to. You could always have it as a standalone figure. If you want it as a standalone figure, he is amazing. The transformation is easy, though I did stumble over the back legs. That was my own fault, really. It's not hard. The transformation's a 10. This guy's easily like a 9.99999. It's fantastic for the character of Catilla. As a member of Predaking, well, that's really your call. It doesn't so much work for me because he's not supposed to be. And I don't typically like things stylized, but I know that a lot of folks do. So for that reason, I'm overall going to say that this guy, kind of however you appreciate him, is a 10. Whether you're looking at the KO oversized version or the actual version that clocks in at a really reduced price, even if you don't have the rest of Rex. If you'd like to have a great version of Catilla, this might be the way to go. And indeed, we are back here yet again to kind of close things off. As a standalone figure, this guy is fantastic. As a limb, it's kind of cool to have symmetry on both sides, which we'll see later. But it's kind of cool to have that symmetry on both sides and be able to use Talon as a complete backpack. It's a neat idea, but it is very stylized and quite a revisioning. For anybody who is kind of a hardened fan of G1, then this might not work because it's a little too stylized. Of course, nothing says you need to use this guy in the combined mode anyway. Even if you don't, like I said, as a standalone, he's fantastic. He's fun. If we look at him from his actual release standpoint, he's about a Voyager size and about a Voyager size price point. Totally worth it, because things work fantastic on that. In this case, as I've said, and the trend still holds true, he can work very well if your collection is more geared toward leader class figures or masterpiece. I like him. He's very strong. So at this point, we've had 2, technically 3 arm limbs that have done very well. 2 legs that are a little bit more questionable, but still did pretty well. What about the torso? Because of course that's going to be the linchpin for this combiner either working or not. Well, we're going to look at him next time. I bet you thought that before we left here I wasn't going to mention that Ares version. I'll say this. Whether we look at Tigress or this guy, whether we look at the KO or the official release, we could even throw in the Unique Toys version of Rampage. The fact is, I think that the most successful and most interesting of them all is actually the one from Ares. He looks fantastic. His tail can be used as an accessory. And from everything that I've heard, though I could be wrong, his articulation and conversion are both very effective. Of course, if you have more experience with that guy, let me know. Also, of course, give me your feedback about Felisaber here. So, just to cap us off here, I'm going to say please hit that subscribe button. By now, I am sure you know how much it helps me out, how important it is. I thank you again for giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know what it's worth to you. Trust me, I know what it's worth to you. And I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.